Hey folks, welcome back to Military Forces Unleashed. Today, we're looking at a ship that carries both strength and unanswered questions. The HMAS Canberra and its sister, HMAS Adelaide, the largest vessels ever operated by the Royal Australian Navy. Classified as landing helicopter docks, they're designed to transport troops, armored vehicles, and helicopters across oceans, giving Australia its first real expeditionary reach. Yet their appearance and capabilities have sparked debates for over a decade. These ships were built with the deck space, displacement, and structure that could have supported short takeoff jets like the F-35B, a feature deliberately left unexploited. The decision to focus purely on amphibious operations shaped their role, but it leaves a lingering question. Could these ships have become a small but highly capable carrier force, and would that have significantly changed Australia's strategic footprint in the Indo-Pacific?
The Canberra class are not just big ships, they're floating hubs of power. They can carry over 1,000 troops, dozens of armored vehicles, and a complement of helicopters capable of supporting multiple simultaneous operations. They feature ski jump bows, long flat decks, and hangars that, in theory, could host fixed-wing jets. In 2014, the Australian government seriously studied converting them for F-35B operations. The conclusion was clear. The modifications would have been prohibitively expensive and disruptive, requiring deck reinforcement, expanded maintenance, and entirely new logistics chains. Today, Japan is moving forward with similar ships, like the JS Kaga, upgrading them to operate F-35Bs. Australia decided otherwise, focusing on helicopters and amphibious capabilities. This contrast raises a critical question. Did Australia make the prudent choice or miss an opportunity to field a more versatile naval platform?
The Canberra class traces its lineage to Spain's Juan Carlos I, designed as a hybrid, an amphibious assault ship capable of supporting both helicopters and potentially fixed-wing jets. Australia seized on this concept in the mid-2000s as regional tensions shifted and the need for expeditionary capability grew. By 2014 and 2015, the HMAS Canberra and HMAS Adelaide entered service, instantly becoming the largest and most complex ships in the Australian fleet. Beyond military projection, they have proven their value in humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, and peacekeeping missions, moving personnel and equipment across vast distances with unprecedented efficiency. Their flexible design allows them to carry vehicles, command elements, and up to a dozen helicopters at once, while providing a platform for medical and logistics support. But the possibility to host jets, although studied, was shelved, leaving a question of untapped potential alongside their operational successes.
Technically, these ships could have been modified to operate F-35Bs. A study commissioned in 2014 concluded it was feasible, but required massive investment, reinforcing the deck against extreme jet exhaust, upgrading aviation fuel systems, expanding hangar space, and training personnel in carrier aviation operations. Financially, the cost would have run into billions while reducing the ship's core amphibious capability. By contrast, focusing on helicopters and landing craft allowed Australia to maintain flexibility and readiness without risking the operational focus of the fleet. Japan, however, took the opposite route, converting its Kaga to operate F-35Bs, accepting cost and complexity to expand its regional reach. For Australia, the decision was about balancing strategic priorities, amphibious lift versus carrier strike capability. The choice reflects more than budget considerations. It shows how doctrine, risk tolerance, and operational philosophy shape the fleet as much as technology does.
From a strategic standpoint, the Canberra class serve Australia well in their amphibious role, but they highlight a tension between potential and decision-making. If these ships had been converted to operate jets, Australia would have gained independent carrier strike capability at a fraction of the cost of designing a new carrier from scratch. The 2015 Defense White Paper, however, emphasized maintaining focus on amphibious operations and humanitarian missions, reflecting a conservative approach to risk and expenditure. This decision also underscores the broader strategic calculus. In an era where regional powers are expanding carrier capabilities, Australia's choice limits its flexibility and dependence on allies. The question isn't whether the ships are effective, they are, but whether Australia left something on the table. The Canberra class demonstrate how decisions driven by budget, doctrine, and risk perception can constrain potential even when the technology is ready to deliver more. Globally, navies are pursuing multi-role flexibility. Japan's Kaga and Izumo, Italy's Cavour, and South Korea's future light carriers show a trend toward amphibious ships with jet capability. Australia's Canberra class, while formidable for amphibious operations, remain helicopters only. That choice ensured operational reliability, but limits power projection compared to peers pursuing F-35B operations. The contrast highlights the trade-offs every Navy faces: cost, complexity, mission focus, and future threat environments. The irony is clear. Australia had the platform almost ready to expand its naval reach, yet chose restraint, while regional neighbors move forward with carrier-enabled operations.
The Canberra class are remarkable ships, reshaping Australia's naval reach and humanitarian response capability. At the same time, they embody a lingering what if, the potential to operate F-35Bs that was carefully studied but ultimately set aside in 2014-2015. Was that decision wise, balancing risk, cost, and amphibious focus? Or was it a mischance to expand Australia's influence in the Indo-Pacific? These ships are already shaping operations and perception, yet they leave us pondering strategic choice versus potential. What do you think? Did Australia make the right call? Or could the fleet have been stronger if it embraced carrier aviation? Your perspective matters. Share it in the comments and let's explore these questions together.
The Canberra class are remarkable ships, reshaping Australia's naval reach and humanitarian response capability. At the same time, they embody a lingering what if, the potential to operate F-35Bs that was carefully studied but ultimately set aside in 2014-2015. Was that decision wise, balancing risk, cost, and amphibious focus? Or was it a missed chance to expand Australia's influence in the Indo-Pacific? These ships are already shaping operations and perception, yet they leave us pondering strategic choice versus potential. What do you think? Did Australia make the right call, or could the fleet have been stronger if it embraced carrier aviation? Your perspective matters. Share it in the comments and let's explore these questions together. Thanks for watching. The Canberra class aren't just steel and helicopters, they represent a nation's priorities, risks, and ambitions. Whether you agree with the decision to keep them helicopters only or wish they carried jets, understanding the reasoning behind it helps us appreciate the complexities of modern naval strategy. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe and hit the bell to continue exploring the decisions, innovations, and debates that define military power today.